Oh, hi, it's your old buddy Zoo, and today is not a review. Today is more of a tangent, because a retro handheld in 2026 that is essentially a Discman broke something in my brain, and God knows it cannot take too many more hits. For the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been using the RG Rotate as an MP3 player, like an actual MP3 player, playing songs that I put on the SD card from my computer in the year of our Lord 2026. I'm not skipping around and getting distracted like I would on Spotify. I'm listening to albums in order as I'm futzing around the grocery store or doing chores or driving around or whatever. It's cool. It's refreshing. It's unlocked something in my brain that I'd kind of forgotten. The removal of all those modern options, all the modern distractions. It's actually quite refreshing, so let's talk about it. First things first, the RG Rotate doesn't need to be an MP3 player. I have a phone. You have a phone. Kids have phones nowadays. Probably they have phones for dogs and cats. I don't know. And yet, the second I found out that the RG Rotate in closed mode could play songs like a Discman, I started carrying it around with me everywhere. I was hooked. It felt like it was 1996. And not because of the music, but because of the constraint. The Rotate, which is a brand new device that came out this year, accidentally recreated a feeling I haven't really felt since I was maybe like 12 or 13, which is, this is the media I picked. I have no other options. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to sit with it. I will be patient with it. And then once that nostalgia door cracked open, I had ghosts coming in from my left and from my right and from everywhere. Ghosts of my past. The first ghost of Zoo's gaming past is renting games. Now, if you're under the age of, 30, this is going to sound made up. But we used to drive to stores, to buildings, and we would pay someone like $1.99 to rent a movie or a Super Nintendo game for the entire weekend. And then we had to physically drive it back, and if we forgot it, they charged us $1 a day. And if we lost it, oh buddy, your mom was pissed off. Where I grew up, there were a couple places that I routinely hit. First up was Phar-Mor, which was far more than just a pharmacy. It was like a super Walmart before super Walmarts were a thing. And somewhere between the store brand candy, the store brand cereal, the store brand strawberry flavored soda pop, they had a video game rental section. VHS tapes, a whole rack of Super Nintendo games, microwave popcorn to replicate the cinema experience. It was amazing. Phar-Mor had no business renting games, and yet they did. And I rented games from them all the time. I rented Final Fantasy III from them probably conservatively a dozen times, and it was amazing. And then there was Giant Eagle in the same plaza. Now, for people who aren't from Western Pennsylvania or Northeast Ohio, Giant Eagle is a grocery store. You and your mom, maybe your siblings, would go to the grocery store and she would say, okay, little Zoo, go pick out a video game, and then she would shop and get milk and chicken and pierogies or whatever you get at Giant Eagle, and you went to the video game part of the store, which was called Eagle Video. And on a Friday night, while she was enjoying some peace and quiet for once, you were standing there trying to pick out which N64 game you wanted to rent based entirely on box art. Try to explain that to a kid in 2026. They will look at you like your face is melting, like you are the epitome of a fever dream. But it happened. Also, somehow in that same exact plaza, Video Game Traders. That's where I got this. Video Game Traders was like the indie video game store. You'd go in there, it was always the same 4 or 5 guys in dirty polo shirts. You'd walk in and they'd say, hey, Lil Zoo, Secret of Mana, we've run it through 500 rental cycles. Now it's on sale for $39.95. And back then when video games were $60, $70 sometimes, that was a pretty good deal. And then, of course, Family Video. Family Video apparently hung on past COVID. Think about that. They are like the video store equivalent of that old man on Mount St. Helens, and they were like, you gotta come down. The lava's gonna get you. And he said, I ain't leaving. I've been here since 1904, and I'm not going. But he went to, hopefully, heaven. Maybe not the other place, but he went with lava because the mountain got him. So what was renting games like? Well, they were worried you were going to steal them, so the boxes were empty. You would pick up a completely empty cardboard box, or sometimes a little plastic clamshell case that had like a photocopy of this in it so you knew vaguely, I think this is Secret of Mana. You'd pick it up off the shelf, you'd take it to the counter, they'd look at it, and they'd look at you. Yeah, I guess. And they'd go in the back and make sure they had it. Sometimes they didn't. Probably one of the most crushing moments of a 12-year-old's life back then. You brought it up there and it was gone. But for the most part, it was there. And your entire decision was the box art on the front and maybe 3 or 4 screenshots on the back. That was it. No reviews, no Metacritic, no idiot on YouTube doing videos on stuff. No Google or, geez, even internet at all. It was just, boy, I bet that looks neat. Seems like these people are having a fun time. Maybe I'll have a fun time if I rent this. And then as soon as you got it home, a timer started ticking. You had like 2.5 days until you had to get it back by Sunday night. No memory cards, no save states. If you wanted to beat it, you were going to play it the entire weekend long until your thumbs felt like they were going to fall off. And if you didn't finish, if you were halfway through Chrono Trigger, you took it back, you prayed. You prayed that the next person that picked it up during the week just had some sense of societal ethos where they would say, you know what? I see there's a save game up there for someone named Zoo. I will save one more down. And by God, most of the time it worked. You started to become parasocial friends with someone, Lucas, all caps in the save slot underneath you, and you'd be like, good job, Lucas. You're almost there. Boy, we're having a good time playing this together. I know I've never seen you. I've never met you. I don't even know if your real name is Lucas. Lucas, if you're out there, let me know. But guess what? The ritual didn't really even start when you got home. It started when you got in the car, because these games used to have these glorious manuals. The manual was the appetizer. Manuals had art. Manuals had character bios that didn't appear anywhere else in the actual game. Manuals had maps and lore and weird little bits of writing that you would read 3 or 4 times before you even got home. Sometimes the manual was almost as good as the game. Like the Earthbound manual, I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to start because I will not stop. But the Earthbound manual was a whole vibe. Today you boot a game and it's a 47 gigabyte download, and maybe if you're lucky, you see a loading bar. That's it. It kind of kills the excitement for me every time I power on a modern console, because it's like, oh boy, I'm going to play a game. No, I'm not. Mandatory 12 gigabyte patch. And I just sit there. And by the time it's done, I don't want to play anymore. And maybe if you wanted more hints, or if you wanted to research on what to snag the next time you went to the Phar-Mor, we had Nintendo Power. I still have a ton of issues. I keep them on my shelf. Sometimes I come down to the basement and I just leaf through them. Something about them, man. The smell of the paper, the fold-out posters that were already creased to oblivion, the hand-drawn maps by some poor intern in Redmond, the screenshots that were actual photographs of old tube TVs. Nintendo Power for a while was kind of the only way to see a new Nintendo game before you bought it. There was no Google, there was no YouTube. If you wanted to learn about this new console called the N64, Nintendo Power was it. You would wait a whole month for it to show up at your house so you could see 4 screenshots of a game you wanted to play, or read just basically a glorified press release about something and go, yeah, I do think Donkey Kong 64 is going to be amazing. Stuck on a boss? You waited for the hints column. If you were really confused, you'd call the hotline on the back. Except back then, long-distance calls cost money. And I found that out the hard way when my mom started screaming at me about the phone bill. I didn't know. It wasn't an 800 number. It wasn't a 900 number. I thought I was just calling my friend Chuck in Redmond. Little Zoo probably rang up, I don't know, $10, $15 in long-distance charges before we put a kibosh on that. But Nintendo Power was kind of like your friend who had already played the game, and you treasured when he would show up at your house once a month. I know this is kind of an Andy Zuni video, but I don't want it to all just be old man yells at clouds, because there are a lot of amazing things we can do nowadays. In the year 2026, I can download entire game libraries onto one of these things, and I can play my Dragon Quest while my wife watches one of her crime shows. I love that you can do that. We have a whole channel devoted to the fact that you can do that. So I'm not going to tell you that, the past was better. It wasn't. Take, for instance, the fact that we had like 3 TV channels, and one of them had shows like Big Bad Beetleborgs or VR Troopers. Although, I did have a crush on that girl from VR Troopers. Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, the RG Rotate with its rotating screen, and it's insistent that I be deliberate about what music and games I'm putting on it. And it accidentally pointed to something that I think we've lost. Waiting, I think, was the point. The limited choice was the point. Reading the manual in the car was the point. The empty box on the wall was the point. The one issue of Nintendo Power a month was the point. We have everything now, and yet I don't think we care about it in the same way that we did about that one game we picked up at the Giant Eagle. Well, Gary, the clock on the wall says it's time for What Did We Learn? And we learned that the RG Rotate is haunted. It's haunted by the manual that I lost in 1994, and Video Game Traders was very upset with me. It's haunted by Family Video. It's haunted by Nintendo Power that has a Star Fox comic in the middle. And it's haunted by a grocery store that for some reason rented me Super Mario World. It's interesting because as much as I miss the then, I still love the now, if that makes sense. If you love this video, remember to like and subscribe and hype and all that jazz. This isn't a regular review. We'll get back to him next week. This is more of a... I was fooling around with the RG Rotate and I started having feelings. I started having some thoughts. I don't like that. But I figured the best way is to do group therapy with you, the viewing audience of Retro Handhelds. Anyway, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.